Well, hello everyone. This is Dr. Eileen and this is Medicine Walk. And for those of you who are listening in on Blog Talk Radio, this is Healing House Radio. So I hope you had a wonderful week. And now we start our new topic. And as a reminder, for those of you who are tuning into the YouTube broadcast, for the premiere only, I am in the chat room and I am available to answer questions live. And so if you have any questions during the stream, then please feel free to ask. After the premiere episode, if you have any questions, then please leave them in the comments. And those of you who are listening in on Blog Talk Radio, while you're totally welcome to come over to YouTube, if you have questions, you can leave those in the comment section and I will get to them and answer them for you. So, as we begin October and one of our last 3 topics for this year, it's amazing how fast this year has gone by. I have been kind of thinking about, what it is that I wanted to talk about. And something that's been brought up a lot lately is the concept of grounding. So this month is going to be dedicated to grounding and what that means and how you can incorporate that in your life. And it's something that a lot of people have asked about. And often one of the big questions is, how can I get grounded? I feel like I'm not grounded. How can I, have that settled feeling, feeling very flighty, feeling, like you're not really fully present. And often one of the biggest issues with grounding is when emotional things happen, when you experience, a lot of stuff going on, when you're dealing with a lot of energy, when you're empathic and you're just around a lot of emotional energy, that can make it very difficult to ground. So let's start off just kind of with a little bit of an introduction and a discussion about different concepts about grounding. And then we're going to go into more specifics in the future episodes for this month. So, grounding. When you do a lot of spiritual work or energetic work, or you are, you have a tendency to be sensitive to the energies around you, in a way, it's sort of, like feeling like a leaf being blown around in the breeze. You get caught up in things, you get caught up in feelings, and you get caught up in very strong, intense energy. And when that happens, it can make it very difficult to be fully present with yourself. It makes it difficult to be fully present with others. And it may be that either because of your job or because of your, your home situation, maybe you're a caregiver, there's an important need for you to be able to be fully present, even if things are going crazy around you. When you're in, very active energetic works or ceremonies, it's very easy to kind of not be able to bring yourself fully back, fully present, and, be able to go on and, kind of leave it. It's sort of like you have a very hard time transitioning from one sort of an energetic state of being to another. So when we talk about grounding, we talk about quite literally that, getting planted. When, often people will picture roots going into the ground, or, like being a part of a tree and feeling those roots going into the ground and reaching into the earth and holding on. So it is important to be able to interact with and feel energies and connect with energies and, and go into those higher places. And it is equally, if not, in my opinion, more important to have the ability to find that solid place within you. And I've talked about the eye of the storm before, that place of stillness, that place of non-motion of the energies with you, and not being so affected by them. So just consider yourself, just for the first visualization, just that idea of being rooted into the ground. Now, different traditions hold this different ways. Some view grounding as a state of complete detachment when emotions are, just kind of locked down, where you do not really sense much around you, where you're only present in that moment with yourself. You are fully there and fully conscious. And so, and that gives a good foundation for being able to, walk away from a work, or to be able to leave something and leave what doesn't serve you behind. And some come from more of an emotional viewpoint of grounded being able to be that calm influence when everybody else is kind of losing their heads and, panicking or whatever. It's that ability not to get caught up in that kind of, well, for lack of a better term, mob mentality, and allowing yourself to be able to see with clarity, allowing you to be able to take control of a situation, to be able to be that calm influence, to not react. And we're going to be talking about that more later, the aspect of grounding and reactive responses, because it's really, really easy to get caught up, especially like, if somebody's coming at you and either complaining about something, or, or just whatever. And you're feeling, because of course you're going to have your feelings, you're going to have your responses. And many of them are very natural. And it's like, okay, if somebody comes at you, you feel like coming back. Grounding, when you're really grounded, that means that no matter what they come at you with, you don't attach to any of it. You can stay in your place. And grounding does lean more towards left brain, analytical. And it is a lot easier to slide into it through that doorway, because grounding is, to me, the ultimate in objectivity. It means that you're not going to be swayed or disrupted or thrown off balance by the things going on around you. So mainly we're going to be looking at, sort of both the energetic and the emotional grounding, because quite honestly, there's a lot going on in the world, and there's a lot that can provoke a lot of emotion and a lot of feeling, a lot of intensity. There's a lot of collective kind of consciousness things going on where there's a mob mentality. People get very stirred up very easily just because we're in a very volatile energetic field. And those of you who are more sensitive, you've been really, having a tough time, I'm sure, because when you're dealing with people, it's almost like it's not a little bit of emotion, it's a lot of emotion that comes through. So the idea that, it's very easy to get thrown off. It's very easy to lose track. It's almost like, a kite in the wind, and the string, they let go of the string, and excuse me, you let go of the string, and that kite just blows all over the place into trees and power lines and all kinds of stuff. Grounded means that your kite has a very firm string, and it is attached, and it is not going anywhere. It's sort of like the concept of an anchor, for a ship in a storm. When you don't want that ship going anywhere, you drop that anchor, and that plants you, and that makes you a sort of an independent entity in an event. So the idea that it's not that it cuts you off. It's a voluntary stepping back from whatever it is that you're going through into your eye of the storm, where, yes, the storm is still going on around you, but you're able to look at it and view it and have a breathing space where it's not so intense, where it's not so overwhelming that it takes away your ability to choose. And when, you think about that, because grounding is about you being able to stay in your place of choice. And I would say that's probably the most important thing that I consider about it, is that it allows you to stay in choice. because it takes you out of that reactive mode. And, especially after you've, say maybe gone through something very emotional or supported somebody going through something very emotional. Maybe sat at someone's deathbed and now you're comforting the family. Maybe there's like there's been a breakup and you're comforting somebody going through a breakup, or maybe you've experienced it yourself. And there's a lot that can kind of blow us off course. Think of it like, the anchor holding the ship and keeping it from being blown off course. And there's a lot that can have us do that. I mean, I've always said life is fun until it isn't, and it sucks until it doesn't. And stop beeping at me. so even something like your technology doing something weird or making noises when you don't choose it to make noises. The idea is that no matter what, when you're in your grounded place, you are able to be in that place of objectivity. You're able to be in that place of not getting swept up by emotion or energy. And this is really, really important for anybody who does any type of energetic work, the ability to ground. And, everybody likes to be kind of in the upper area, and, it's that floaty kind of feeling, and, and everybody loves that. And if you have to get out, leave that work and go and get in your car and, drive home in the freeway or whatever, you don't want to be in that floaty spot. Or if you have an immediate need to take care of somebody, you don't want to be in that floaty spot. You want to be in that settled, calm, still place, firmly rooted to earth, firmly rooted to ground, and being able to move that energy to a place where you can manage it, and where it is something that you can be able to have, the ability to choose, okay, I'm going to choose how I respond to this, how I react to this, as opposed to going into that reactive mode. And, for those who envision things like a lightning rod, the lightning strikes the lightning rod and it goes down. I was married to an engineering type who spent a lot of time around voltage. And so that idea that the voltage, that electricity always wants to get to ground. That is where the energy wants to go. It wants to go through that, and it will go, if it has to go through you to do it, it will. So consider that the energy that you have within you, whether it's emotional energy, spiritual energy, or any ceremonial energy, that energy, it will instinctively move through you. And if it has no place to land, if you're not connected energetically to earth and ground, then it's going to just, rack around inside you and really kind of, mess with you. So we're going to be talking about ways to allow yourself to, have that lightning rod inside of you, where the energy goes, it hits it, and then you move into a grounded place. And then that energy can either dissipate, it can move through, you can be able to let go of it, because it is about letting go, not holding on to things. And yeah, that can be really tough in situations where you're being aggravated, where you're being provoked, or where, your belief systems are being challenged. And, and maybe you even feel like it's a personal attack or whatever. Fewer attacks are personal than most people think. Usually, if somebody's coming at you with something, it has probably very little to do with you. You were just the last person to have them respond to, but more than likely it started pretty far back. But when you're dealing with somebody who is being very reactive at you, your choices are to, respond in kind and go, okay, you push me, I'm going to push you. You're reactive to me, I'm going to be reactive to you. And when that happens, we are not being grounded, because we're acting on reflex. It's a primal reflex. It's a survival instinct. Push back when you are pushed. So the idea that you can go into your place of choice, you can ground, Connect yourself. Let that energy, you don't let that energy go wherever it wants. It goes where it's supposed to go, which is Earth. And you can let go of what's coming in by allowing it to move through and keeping that connection. That means that you always have choice. That means that you can always say, you know what? I'm not even going to respond to this person, or I am going to bring up reasonable, logical points and have my say and be done with it, or I am going to, redirect this somehow. If I have to deal with this person, I'm going to redirect the conversation. So it keeps you in that place of being able to decide how you want to respond as opposed to being reactive. It also keeps you from taking in stuff that other people are projecting. If you're in a situation where a lot of people are aggravated, or a lot of people are in grief, or a lot of people are feeling whatever, and if you don't want to feel that, bam, you ground. And that way, whatever comes in hits that lightning rod and goes through into ground, and you release it. And we'll be talking about that. It's like grounding is only as effective as your willingness to release something. If there's something that comes in and you really want to hold on to it, it's going to make it very, very tough for you to be able to ground and let it go. So this will be a really good discussion. And if you know people who have a difficult time kind of finding themselves, for me, that's the heart of grounding, is finding myself, finding my true self, connecting with my true self. And because that true self is not going to get wrapped up in foolishness. My core self, my core spirit is not about that. My core spirit is about truth and being in a place of love and being in a place of acceptance. And when energy comes in that interferes with that, or that starts triggering me in ways that, that take me out of my true self, grounding brings me back to my true self. So this is also a wonderful way for you to get a deeper connection with you, with your core self, with your core spirit. So it's going to be a really interesting discussion. And like I said, if you know somebody who may be having some difficulty in those areas, please encourage them to watch, or you can share the video with them. You can, as I said, log in during the premiere episode of the video, and I will be in the chat room listening in and answering questions. So this should be a really good month, and I'm looking forward to it. And I'm also still figuring out the topics. The last two topics will probably, December will be kind of a recap of everything. So if there is a topic that you would like me to cover, please let me know. So thank you for joining me. And you can reach me through, in the description, there is the link to my Twitter, the link to my Facebook page, Medicine Walk with Dr. Eileen. If you like this video, please, click the like button, subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell for notifications. And if you would like to support this channel at a higher level, there is a link to my Patreon account. And that helps to support the channel. And I'm working on building that up to, pay for better equipment and to, get editing more down. And I'm really having fun working with the editing program I have. And I know I could do much better. And I want to do better for you. So have a good week. We'll see you next week. And as always, I wish you balance, and I wish you blessings from my heart to yours. Love you. And class dismissed.